Alright students, so today we're going to talk about factoring trinomials. There is a factoring trinomial handout which you should find in your one of your course folders. And it's just a one-page handout, and it explains how to factor trinomials, any trinomial, using the method of factoring by grouping. Now a lot of students get very confused when they read this because it has words on there, and of course why should we ever have words with mathematics? So if you're intimidated by words, it's okay, because I'm going to take the words away and just use a plain piece of paper. However, if you're not intimidated by words, you can follow along with your handout. Now, we have an example, which is, and pardon my handwriting, 2x squared minus x minus 3. And we want to factor this, okay? Now, in high school, my teacher would factor things, and he would just draw some parentheses and fill in the parentheses very magically. And it was amazing, and I never quite knew how he did it, and I was always too shy to ask him. So I taught myself later how he did it, and what he was doing was, mentally, he was drawing a nice t-square on the side somewhere. And the first step, which is step 1 in the handout, says multiply the coefficients a and c, including the signs, meaning the first coefficient times the last coefficient. That's -6. And that goes in our t-square right there. And now we want to find factors of this that add up to be the middle coefficient and include its sign, which is -1, which I put on the other side of the t-square. And then I try to find factors of this -6. So we've got 6 and 1. Can I add those up somehow to be -1? No, that's not going to work. I have 2 and 3. Now if I make one of these negative, they'll multiply to be negative, and perhaps even add together to be the -1 that I want. And if you're thinking, then yes, it's the -3, because 2 minus 3 is -1. 2 times -3 multiplies to be -6. So that works. Those are the factors that we want to use. Okay? So we found the factors, which is step 2 on our handout. We found the factors, and now we want to rewrite the trinomial using these two factors, and we're going to replace the middle term with the two factors. So here we go with our step 3 of the handout. We're going to rewrite the trinomial using the two factors we found, replacing only the middle term with them. And if we notice, if you combine like terms at this point, you get exactly what you had before, and that's a way to check your work. And the order in which you write these factors does not matter. You could have written the -3x first, followed by the 2x. That would have been fine. The order doesn't matter, as long as you're only replacing the middle term. The next step then is to put parentheses around the first two objects, and then the last two items. Okay, put parentheses. Technically there's a plus sign there. You can always add a negative, right? You can put that addition sign in front of a negative, and it doesn't change the fact that it's negative. It doesn't change the fact that it would be subtracting the 3x. And it's a technicality. As we move on in class, you'll see me sometimes leave that out, because it's technically there, but often when we're working we don't show all the little details. Now that you've done this, simply look at the first set of parentheses and take out what you can. Okay? So I can take out a 2, because there's a 2 here and a 2 here. I can also take out an x, because there's 2 x's there and only 1 there. So I can take out 1x. If I do that, I would have left x plus 1. Take a step back, mentally distribute this back into your parentheses, you get what you had above. Okay, so you've done everything correctly. Move on to the next set of parentheses. Take out what you can. I can take out a -3, and I would have an x plus 1 left. Now the whole goal of this is to factor so that what's left inside these parentheses is the same thing, is an identical matching piece, which is x plus 1. And we have an identical matching piece, which is great, because then what we do is we drop that matching piece down and we write it one time, and then we connect our outside pieces. Okay, and we're actually done then. Now if you factored in step 5 here and you didn't have matching pieces, likely you didn't take out the correct factor, maybe you didn't take out the negative when you needed to, but it's an indication when you've done something wrong. When you've done something right, these inside pieces match, drop them down, write them once, connect your outside pieces, put them in their own parentheses. And that's how you factor by grouping. And in the factoring lecture, we'll factor lots and lots and lots of trinomials, but we'll go a lot faster.